Suddenly, without a hint of warning, an arrow zips right past her face and buries itself up the shaft into the target.
The culprit turns out to be Ned, one of the other young counselors.
Is it Baby Kevin Bacon?
No!
You must be crazy!
You want to see my trick shot? It's even better.
Marcy's rage, which is legitimately seething at this point. I mean, this idiot just shot a fucking arrow at her face. Suddenly, and inexplicably turns into playful flirtation. What the fuck is wrong with these kids?
Maybe they deserve what's coming to them.
Maybe they do, because the young man counselor decides to hit on his lady counterpart with a bad James Cagney impression.
You know you look beautiful when you're angry, sweetheart.
And then they scamper up into the woods. Cagney's scrumptious.
At this point, I want to murder them all.
Luckily, we were about to.
Cut to!
Annie's still making her way on foot now toward Camp Crystal Lake. A jeep pulls over and Annie cheerfully hops inside.
Why not?
Hi, I'm going to Camp Crystal Lake.
Bum, bum, bum.
The jeep speeds away.
I guess I've always wanted to work with children. I hate when people call them kids. It sounds like little goats. And when you've got a dream as long as I have, you'll do anything. Hey, wasn't that the road to Camp Crystal Lake just over there?
Bum, bum, bum.
I think we better stop.
The jeep speeds up.
Please? Please stop, please.
Annie opens the door and hurls herself out of the speeding murder jeep.
Oh, my leg! Roll, Annie, tuck and roll. The once cheerful Annie now stops and stumbles her way into the woods, injured in her leap from a moving vehicle.
The unseen menace pursues her on foot.
Annie stumbles and gets back up.
And then stumbles and gets back up.
And then dodges through the trees and stumbles and gets back up.
No.
All's quiet.
And then the killer hopped out from behind a tree.
With a big fucking knife.
That finally silences Annie, who always wants to work with children and not little goats. Let's be honest. It's about goddamn time someone started killing off these asshole teenagers.
Yay! Meanwhile,
Back at the lake.
The counselors are all swimming and playing around in the docks.
And baby Kevin Bacon is in a Speedo.
someone watch us from the woods. Let's hope it's a safe killer.
Hey, you guys, stop it. Come back to work. Hi, I'm Alice, remember? I'm the responsible one here. Whenever these horny assholes get lazy or out of line, I'll be the jerk-bot who gets them back on track.
One of the counselors begins flailing and struggling in the water.
Something is wrong with Ned.
Get a life preserver. In a surprising display of efficiency, they all work together to rescue their fallen comrade.
And then it turns out he was just fake drowning so he could get Marcy to give him mouth to mouth.
What an irresponsible motherfucker.
The killer's watching. I can't wait for this particular irresponsible motherfucker to get killed.
Yay!
Later that day,
Wait just a minute, guys. Is this really later the same day? I mean, it seems like a really extra long day.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still Friday the 13th.
Alice is in the kitchen making lunch.
Lunch? It's only lunchtime?
Alice is in the kitchen making lunch when out of nowhere, the crazy guy from town leaps out at her.
I'm a messenger from God. The camp is cursed. It's got a death curse. God sent me to warn you. Go! Go!
And then the crazy guy scampers into the woods like a squirrel.
Gosh, what's next?
Yeah!
Jesus Christ, what do I have to do to get a dead teenager up in here?
Oh, wait a minute. It appears to have suddenly become dusk, and Ned spies on baby Kevin Bacon dancing on the log and making out with Marcy. Ned is sad. I guess he really wanted to make out with Marcy.
Bad enough to fake a drowning.
Maybe he shouldn't have been such an irresponsible asshole.
Luckily for us, he decides to wander off alone as the afternoon light finally begins to fade.
He notices a shadowy figure moving about inside an abandoned cabin.
Hello? Can I help you?
He
Hello?
stepped
Hello?
closer to investigate.
And then we are robbed of our satisfaction as we
Cut to
baby Kevin Bacon and Marcy calmly strolling around the lake.
Ooh, winds come up.
Will someone murder these fucking asshole kids already?
Yes, the winds seem to have shifted a good 180 degrees.
I love you.
Look, it's going to storm.
Someone please kill this amateur meteorologist.
Let's go inside or we're gonna get soaked.
The waters of the lake begin to churn.
The trees begin to rustle.
And the teens remain unmurdered.
Not for long, we hope.
Marcy and baby Kevin Bacon sneak into a cabin and make up by candlelight.
Meanwhile, in another less sexy cabin, Alice and two unnamed counselors play guitar and don't have sex with each other, and also don't get murdered.
I know, we're gonna play Monopoly.
Oh, that sounds boring.
Yes, it does. But wait, we're gonna play strip Monopoly.
Yeah!
anticipating the moment of her surely impending murder.
The door creaks open ominously.
Baby Kevin Bacon, is that you? Come on, you guys. She steps further into the darkness to examine the shower room.
Marcy approaches the first mysteriously closed curtain.
Ollie, Ollie, accent free.
No one is there.
She rips open the second curtain.
No one is there.
It must be my imagination.
Or our lucky day, because the shadow of an axe rears up behind her stupid, slutty teenage head.
She turns.
She screams.
And thump! An axe to the head officially dispatches Marcy.
Yay, axe murder!
Back to the cabin, no sex monopoly.
Aww.
Where the unnamed boy counselor has his shirt off and the unnamed girl counselor is wearing only her bra.
But Alice is still firmly clothed and keeping her integrity in check, right?
Right.
In fact, just at the moment when she should be starting to unbutton her tastefully high-necked blouse, a gust of wind blows the cabin door open.
I think I left the windows of my cabin open. I guess we're gonna have to finish this game some other night. The unnamed girl counselor puts on a rain slicker and runs into the stormy night, carrying her clothes in her hands, which is literally the worst choice she could have possibly made in that scenario. Let's hope she gets murdered!
She steps into the bathroom with a handful of soaking wet clothes and her toiletries cap.
She begins brushing her teeth as if proactive or oral hygiene could save her.
Inside the shower stall, #1, a hand reaches out and grasps the curtain.
The unnamed girl counselor just shrugs it off and heads back to her cabin.
Aww.
Don't give up hope yet.
Someone is watching through her window.
She disrobes.
We mean literally takes off a bathrobe.
And reveals underneath a nightgown that would make a Mennonite proud.
Outside, she hears a sound.
Help me! Help me!
Probably nothing.
Help me!
Just the wind.
Help me!
She finally goes outside to investigate.
Help me! I'm over here! Help me!
Now we know she has a rain slicker.
We saw her wearing it 10 seconds ago.
But she still chooses to venture out into the rain in her Mennonite nightie. Hello? Where are you? Hello?
The unnamed Mennonite camp counselor stumbles onto the archery range.
Where the floodlights are suddenly switched on, blinding her!
Oh, who's there? This isn't fun anymore.
She backs right up to the dilapidated archery target.
And we cut to Alice, fully dressed and in no danger at all in the no-sex monopoly cabin.
Aww.
What the fuck? Why can't we kill these fucking teenagers already?
Ooh, wait. The door begins to slowly creak open. It's...
Oh, it's the unnamed boy counselor.
Oh goodness, you scared me. I thought I heard a scream. And then I thought I saw the lights come on in the archery room.
Oh, I'll go check it out.
Can I come too?
Sure.
The duo don their brightly colored rain slickers and run into a neighboring cabin, where they find a bloody axe tucked into a bed, its axy little head resting peacefully on a pillow.
Aw, little Axe had a big day teenage murdering.
Oh, you just so red.
They scamper into Kevin's sex-drugged murder. Where is everyone?
They scamper into the bathroom cabin.
No one is here. I think we should call someone. I'm serious. I really think we should call someone.
They scamper over to the camp office.
The phone's dead. Let's try to tape them.
Alice, an unnamed boy camp counselor, has discovered that the payphone is also disabled, and so is the camp van.
No. Let's get out of here. Let's just hike out of here. I think something's really wrong.
Careful, Alice. It's that kind of level-headed thinking that just might see you through this night, which is Friday the 13th, in case anyone forgot.
Don't worry. I'm sure there's some kind of stupid explanation for all of this.
Like what? What kind of explanation? Seriously.
I don't know, but I bet we'll be laughing about it tomorrow.
Alice and the last living unnamed boy counselor scamper back to camp in the cabin of no sex monopoly.
Meanwhile, Shirtless Steve, the camp director, has been walking the camp. She's stuck in a muddy rut miles down the road. Hello? Who's there? You! What are you doing around this mess?
Steve is stuck in the belly!
Yay, murder!
Cut to...
No sex monopoly cabin!
Where Alice is just awoken with a start.
And put on a kettle of tea.
She decides to go out looking for...
Bill? Bill? Bill?
Bill, which we have just learned is the name of the unnamed boy counselor. pitch after all.
What am I gonna do?
Just at that moment, the lifeless body of the unnamed girl counselor is sent flying through the window.
Oh, it screams!
And then mutters and whimpers and crawls away from the dead friend.
Senselessly leaving behind her barbecue poker and ring slicker.
The camp jeep pulls up to the cabin. Eek! Could it be shirtless Steve, camp director?
No, he got shaved in the belly just a few minutes ago.
But Alice doesn't know that. It could be sanctuary, rescue, safety.
Alice has to find a way to get herself out the front door, which she boarded up with a fuck ton of garbage.
She throws off the chair, the other chair, and the rocking chair.
The coffee table, the log, and the impressive rope-hooking mechanism.
And she runs off and finds who she hopes is Steve. Steve, oh, Steve!
Instead, a very fancy-looking older woman steps out of the jeep, stopping Alice in her tracks.
Who are you?
Why, I'm Mrs. Voorhees. I used to work for the camp.
Alice rushes into the safety of this clearly harmless older woman in her warm and chunky knit sweater.
Oh, thank God!
All right, okay, all right. Calm down, okay? I can't fucking help you if you don't calm down.
Well, she's dead and he's dead. Oh my God, poor Bill.
All right, show me.
What? No.
It's okay, I used to work for the camp. Show me.
No, they'll kill you too.
I'm not afraid.
Mrs. Voorhees confidently walks into the cabin with Alice close behind.
Oh my lord, oh my lord. So young, so pretty. What kind of monster could have done this? Oh God, this place, there's been so much trouble. Did you know that a young boy drowned a year before the first of the counselors were killed? None of the counselors were paying attention. And they were making love while the young boy drowned. And finally, Alice starts to get the picture that kindly old woman in chunky knit sweaters don't just appear out of the middle of fucking nowhere.
At a murder camp.
During a rainstorm.
No. Chunky sweater-wearing old bitches rarely come to murder camp in the rain to save you from a serial killer.
His name was Jason. I was working the day and a half for preparing meals out of the cat. Jason should have been watched every second. He wasn't a very good swimmer. We can go now, dear.
I don't want to go.
Mrs. Voorhees begins stroking Alice's hair while gazing out into the middle distance. I see Jason was my son, and today is his birthday. I can't let them open this camp again, not after what they did to my sweet Jason!
You know what? I think this bitch can get a little more cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, don't you think?
Come on, Mrs. Voorhees, really go for it.
You did it! You let him drown! Oh, you should have been watching him. Look what you did to him, my son! That was my only son! Oh, he's sweet! She pulls a knife out of her belt and chops it out. I took his sweater!
Proves to be pretty resourceful, whacking Mrs. Voorhees on the head with a fireplace poker and sending her sprawling to the ground.
Runs away. She jumps into the jeep and finds the murdered body of Marcy.
I guess Mrs. Voorhees was just driving around with that in there.
Alice screams and runs into the woods.
Wait! Come back! The car's still drivable. You could get away.
Well, bad news, because Mrs. Voorhees is back on her feet, watching Alice run into the moonlight.
Kill her, Mommy, kill her. I will, Jason. I will. What you did? Kill her, Mommy, kill her. Jason. Quiet,
Alice
Alice.
tries to get away. She throws a ball of twine at her.
That's wine.
And I'm in trouble.
Oh, shark.
Oh.
Finally, Alice gets her hands on something useful and whacks Mrs. Voorhees with a shovel and runs away.
Kill her, Mommy, kill her. Kill her, don't let her get away. Tell me to take away the iPad.
Mrs. Voorhees finally seems to mean business, and she comes at Alice with a machete.
Oh, I found.
Alice clocks her with a frying pan.
Alice, pick up the machete. No, she just strolls out to the lake and sits in a fucking canoe.
With her back to the shore.
Right, just kill her already.
Of course, Mrs. Voorhees comes up behind her with the machete.
Oh, Boniva. But in the canoe oar versus machete fight that ensues, Alice again gets the upper hand on the murderous Mrs. Voorhees.
Alice gets control of the machete
Shut up!
and in a single swipe separates Mrs. Voorhees' head from her chunky sweater torso.
A feat that we
go for a float in the lake on a floating canoe.
As the sun rises, several police officers arrive on the scene.
Alice awakens, safe, her face serene.
She did it.
She's the last girl.
She survived.
Here until a bloated and disgustingly disfigured boy leaps out of the water and grabs her, dragging Alice down to the murky depths of Cherry Shaw for fate.